The Lions, the Chiefs. The Thanksgiving tradition continues. Sellout of 80,000 at Pontiac Silverdome. Michigan fans again celebrate this holiday as football family. Fathers bringing their children to root for the Lions, just as my own father did for me 40 years ago at Old Brick Stadium. A football tradition. It began in '34, Lions Thanksgiving Day. There's plenty to cheer. Two of the NFL's greatest running backs are the featured entree. Kansas City's record-setting Marcus Allen, the oldest starting NFL running back ever, and Detroit's incomparable Barry Sanders, like Allen, on a direct and spectacular course toward pro football's Hall of Fame. And hello, everyone. Along with Paul McGuire and Phil Simms, we wish you a happy and meaningful Thanksgiving. And it certainly is an important one for Kansas City, making such a drastic change, a winning team changing their quarterback.
Well, starting a new quarterback, but there's a lot of factors working in Rich Gannon's favor today for Kansas City. One, it's a short week, so he shouldn't get as nervous because he doesn't have that many days to think about it. Two, he's away from home where the Kansas City fans have been very hard on this Kansas City offense. But most importantly, he's facing a Lion defense, which in the last 6 weeks has really struggled, giving up a lot of yards against the pass and the run. People are scoring a lot of points on him, so this is a good spot to insert a new quarterback.
Detroit's defense could be good therapy. Part of the tradition here in Detroit on this holiday is great running backs. In my day, it was cheering for Doak Walker. No question about who the young kids are cheering for today.
The most exciting runner in football, I think, and it's Barry Sanders. We talked to Marcus Allen yesterday, and Marcus Allen said he, to me, is the most exciting runner he's ever seen. And this is a player that the players themselves would pay to go see. Marty Schottenheimer said playing against him is like sitting on a keg of dynamite for 3 hours and hoping to God that you can get out of town before this thing goes off. But the interesting thing about Barry Sanders, in 8 consecutive seasons over 1,000 yards, and in his career so far, he's averaging over almost 5 yards a carry.
Well, the eyes will be on Sanders, including Marcus Allen, with an appreciative look. He goes for his own NFL record today.
As we sing the Lions fight song.
Guys, let's go! Let's climb the mountain together. One rung at a time. Let's go one play at a time. Let's play our kind of football. Let's go!
Welcome back to Detroit. I'm Jim Gray. Marty Schottenheimer trying to rally his troops. Well, Rich Gannon's roommate on the road is Steve Bono. Gannon told me that he's spoken a lot to Bono about his situation and genuinely feels very badly for him. However, Gannon went on to say he's got to do his job now. He told me after warm-ups he's not nervous, he's not anxious. He said the worst thing that can happen to me is that I end up back up on the bench and just stink up the joint. That's not going to happen. Look for Rich Gannon to have an awful big game today. Dick?
All right, Jim, and Jason Hansen sends it to the end zone where Tamarik Vanover gambles and brings it out. He crosses the 20 and is tackled at the 23-yard line. We're underway. The 57th annual Thanksgiving Day game here in the Detroit area. The men in the white jerseys take the field, and it's Rich Gannon, his first start in a couple of years since coming over from Washington. Criswell, Zott, Grenard, Shields, and Siglar, the blockers. The great Marcus Allen in the backfield, along with Kimball Anders, the top receiver at fullback. Penn and LaChapelle are the wide receivers, and Derek Walker, the blocking tight end. Steve Bono, a spectator to start today. Anders in motion. Gannon comes out throwing and hits his tight end Walker at the 30-yard line, a pickup of 7. Men in the Honolulu blue and silver. Pepper Johnson, the veteran, making that tackle. And here's how they line up the starters. Front four of Porcher, who leads with 7 sacks. Thomas and Ellis have 5 each. And Kerwin Waldrop, a rookie from Central State, Ohio. Antonio London, Johnson in the middle. Reggie Brown, their top draft pick from Texas A&M. McNeil has 5 picks. Corey Raymond at the other corner. Benny Blades leads in tackles. Van Malone at free safety. 2nd down 3. First call, and he gets about a yard. Good defense. Reggie Brown touted rookie, is very fast at 240 pounds, runs a 4.46, led the charge.
Well, I really like the way the Kansas City offense started today, giving Rich Gannon a chance to get on track, throw a pass right away, and I think it's important that he comes in and plays just like he did when he was the backup. You know, feel no pressure, be spontaneous. If you have a chance to run, take it.
And the other thing about the defense, talking to Wayne Fonts yesterday, he said, you know, we've been hurt on defense. I'm not so sure that I have one guy in this team that can start for the Kansas City defense.
Third and a short 2. LaChapelle in motion. Play action for Gannon, who is a good scrambler. He looks like he wants to run. He does, and dives for a first down at the 35. Ryan McNeil there to cover for Detroit.
Well, he was going to go downfield to Walker, the tight end, but the Walker falls down, so he can't get back up, and Gannon has to take the ball and get the first down on his own.
Well, and that's the one thing that excites this Kansas City team and Marty Schottenheimer, the fact that Rich Gannon, when the play is not there, he can make something happen with his legs and can run, and he's pretty fast. He runs about a 4.640.
It's real fast.
It's a little faster than you, Paul.
Averaging Billy Sims type numbers, almost 5 yards a carry. Former University of Delaware star, hands off to Anders, and Anders, who doesn't get many chances to run the ball, gets a couple to the 36. Benny Blades comes up from safety to help on the tackle. Blades, who is far and away the leader in tackles this season from that safety position. And the other bad news for the defense is their second leading tackler is cornerback Ryan McNeil.
Well, it is bad news. Benny Blades, you see him at the line of scrimmage. What do, the Detroit defense? He has to get up there to help stop the run, and now it leaves all single coverage with the defensive backs, and quite honestly, they struggle to cover receivers.
Second down and 8. Vanover in motion, and a reverse to Vanover. Read well by Ryan McNeil, and he knocks him down for a yard loss.
Grunard, the center, never gets out. He got trapped inside. This play is going to work if they get Grunard, the center, out. He gets stuck inside. Watch what he does. He's going to almost bump into his own man. Boom, he hits there. Now, Grunard never gets back to the outside. If he does, there is where the block would have been made there, and the hole was wide open.
Instead, it's a yard loss. Third and a long 8.
Now we know why McNeil is second in tackles.
That was a big play. It was wide open up the sidelines. Rich Gannon under pressure, and he can't get it off to Anders. Hit as he delivered the ball. Robert Forshea and Antonio London in on the quarterback.
For the Lion defense, the way they can have success, and really the only way they can have success, is that front four has to put pressure on the quarterback. Robert Forshea has had the best year of all the defensive linemen. He grabs Rich Gannon's arm. That's why the pass was short to Kimbo Anders.
Louis Aguiar to punt it for Kansas City. Glenn Milburn, the kick return artist for Detroit, inside the 20. Former Stanford and Denver return man comes up to get it, but the ball hits short and kicks out of bounds. Short punt for Kansas City. Detroit will begin from the 30-yard line. No score on this Thanksgiving from Pontiac Silverdome. Back in the Wolverine State. No score as Detroit with its first opportunity. Scott Mitchell with only Barry Sanders behind him. Pete Metzelaar is the tight end in motion. Play action. The left-hander Mitchell. His hand is hit as he throws. Incomplete as Derek Thomas in on the Detroit quarterback. Thomas, who leads Kansas City again in sacks with 11.
Actually, it's a good thing his hand was getting hit because he really didn't have anybody to throw the ball to, Phil. I mean, he was going downfield and everybody was covered.
And Derek Thomas, number 58, is a down lineman today instead of a linebacker because Marty Schottenheimer wants to get more speed on this defense for two reasons. Pressure the passer and a little more speed to watch Barry Sanders.
60 pounds lighter than Ray Roberts, and Thomas pushing him right back to the quarterback. Barry Sanders, that stop and start technique of his, earns a yard to the 31. Here's how the Lions line up as starters. Whether Roberts, Compton, the Pro Bowler Glover at center. Jeff Hardings, they really love this rookie from Penn State, and Zephyrus Moss. Sanders, the lone running back with the three wide receivers. Perriman, Morton, and Moore. Moore leads with 77, among the league leaders again. And Pete Metzelaar is the former Bills tight end. Lines up now in the Honolulu blue and silver. Martin in motion. Mitchell under pressure. Scrambles, throws, complete. Perriman at the 44. His 68th catch of the season. He had 108 a year ago, and Moore was well over 100, 123.
Well, Kansas City defense rarely blitzes, and the one reason today they're playing zone instead of man coverage, they're worried about Barry Sanders, and that's why Scott Mitchell, when he steps up, there's nobody covering the receiver down the middle, because number 20, they're afraid of getting him in man-to-man coverage.
Here comes Sanders. Little hesitation earns him a couple more yards to the 47, where it'll be 2nd and 8. Here's the Kansas City defense. Smith, Phillips, Saliamua, and Booker, the front four. Derek Thomas, Simeon, and Davis, the linebackers, although Donnie Edwards has started for Simeon against the 3 wide receiver set. Carter and Hasty as good a pair of cornerbacks as there are in the NFL. Brian Washington and Mark Collins. Collins having a career season with 5 interceptions and 3 forced fumbles. The veteran formerly from New York. Delay to Sanders, and it's read by Keith Traylor, the defensive tackle from Central Oklahoma, and Sanders hit for a loss.
There's one thing about this offense of Detroit Lions. Last year they were so good. They passed great. They've gotten away from that. They're not doing very well this year, and in order for this team to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, it's not going to be Barry Sanders. It's got to be the passing game.
Well, today we talked about it earlier, Paul. The Chiefs are going to play a little differently on defense. Usually like the pressure, maybe blitz you, play man coverage. But because they don't want their backs to Barry Sanders all the time, they'll play a little more zone.
Here comes a safety blitz, and Mitchell is hit and tackled by Donnie Edwards. Edwards, the rookie from UCLA, getting his first start, and it was Mark Collins who came up with the ball. Collins, that was about as long a run for a blitz. He was 20 yards away from the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's good timing by Mark Collins. Watch him, comes from way back there. He knows the snap count of Scott Mitchell, and he hits the open hole. And you talked about it earlier. Mark Collins is having a fantastic year playing safety.
Well, what it did, though, it put the guard and the tackle on that side in a precarious position, because they're seeing Collins come. So one of them leaves Edwards, and Edwards gets the sack.
Mark Royals the punt to Vanover. Beautiful kick. Vanover is going to let it bounce at the 20, and it kicks out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. A flag is down. Wayne Fonce, the winningest coach in Detroit Lion history. He starts today, his record dead even, 67 wins, 67 losses counting playoffs.
It'll be
holding against Kansas City. It was it after the kick. If so, it just will be penalized from the spot.
Holding receiving team number 41. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Reggie Tung, rookie from Oregon State. So Kansas City, when we return, will be starting deep in their own end from around the 10-yard line. No score. First quarter.
I don't think there's anything quite like football on Thanksgiving Day. The opener wouldn't be like that. Homecoming probably isn't like that in college. Thanksgiving Day is special, and of course, with our opportunity to play today in the great tradition of Detroit, it's something that we're looking forward to.
Marty is a very emotional man, then recounted his days coming home from the University of Pittsburgh back to McDonald, PA, where all the guys would come back at 11 o'clock Thanksgiving morning. He went out and played some ball, part of the Thanksgiving tradition in his own life. They start from the 9, Kansas City, after the 45-yard punt and 9-yard penalty, and little gain for Marcus Allen out to the 10-yard line. Let's go back to the penalty on the punt.
You're going to see number 41 right at the bottom of the screen right is Reggie Tung, and he really puts a lick on the I couldn't pass that.
You can't laugh at
lick. I can. He puts a lick on a punt cover guy. I love that.
You've been waiting all year.
I know. We've done it a couple of times. Reggie really hadn't done much, but today he did, and it was a holding penalty.
Well, hold yours from now on. Second down and 9. And again, gets outside, but only a 2-yard gain as Benny Blades comes firing up along with Ryan Stewart, and it was Stewart from Georgia Tech, the 3rd-round pick, who made the final hit.
Well, Benny Blades, the strong safety, the one thing he is very good at is stopping the run, does a good job of making Marcus Allen go way outside, and Ryan Stewart, another hard-hitting safety, makes the play.
This game, Dick, does it look a little sluggish to you? I mean, Kansas City came out, and there just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of fire in this team after the embarrassment at San Diego at home a week ago.
Well, and the Lions, a bad game in Chicago Sunday, and only a couple, 3 days to get ready, and Gannon now calls time. So with a 3rd and 7 facing the Chiefs, a timeout. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
Well, you see Rich Gannon and Steve Bono is in charge today of sending the plays into Rich Gannon, and their roommates on the road, their friends. So this has been a tough week for both of them. But this also says a lot about Steve Bono, the man. A lot of quarterbacks would be at the other end of the bench, not talking to anybody after getting benched. So Steve Bono still being part of it, getting in there and trying to help out the starting quarterback.
Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator, calling down the plays. And this is 3rd and 7 from just outside the 11-yard line. Lions showing blitz. Wide open is Anders. 25-30. Finally hit from behind and down at the 37-yard line. Ryan McNeil securing the tackle. A 25-yard play.
Well, the Detroit defense, what happens is they blitz. They think the running back is going to stay in the backfield. But look at Van Malone coming up way outside. Kimball Anders cuts across the middle. There's nobody there to help him. Makes for a big gain by the Kansas City passing offense.
That was an outstanding read by Gannon to just find Anders, because that's the only guy he had time to get the ball to.
Marcus, 40, 45, got a blocker in front. And Allen inside the Detroit 30 before Benny Blades can save a touchdown.
Why is it that we see a guy like Marcus Allen, he comes in last night, and you think he's been around so many years that this may be the last year, and then he does things like this. It makes you wonder, will it be his last year or not? Watch Marcus run.
Well, the Detroit defense, that front four, Paul, they love to get up the field, and if they don't make the tackle, it creates a lot of big gaps for the offensive running game.
Senior 6. He knows how to find the end zone. Marcus Allen, 131 career touchdowns, second to Jerry Rice, and of course one away from snapping the tie with Walter Payton, most rushing touchdowns in NFL history. Gannon, wide open is LaChapelle, and he is close to a first down at the 20-yard line. Ryan McNeil on the coverage.
Well, what really has hurt this Kansas City offense this year, the wide receivers have not been as productive as they hoped. Lake Dawson out for the year. Sean LaChapelle does a good job driving the defensive back, and Rich Gannon makes a good throw to the sideline.
Kansas City distributing the pass, wide receivers and running backs, much unlike Detroit, where all the action goes to the wideouts. Gannon changing his play. Greg Hill has replaced Allen in the backfield. 2nd and 2. To Anders, left alone in the flat, and he has a first down and more to the Detroit 11-yard line. Antonio London, the tackler. We talked about the difference between Kansas City and their favorite targets, and Detroit quite the opposite, as you can see.
Well, they love to throw it to the wide receivers. The Kansas City team, Paul Hackett, the offensive coordinator, it's somewhat the so-called the West Coast offense, and they do like to throw the ball to the running backs. A good example, the last play.
Marcus Allen back in the lineup. 35 yards on that run on this drive, the longest of the season for Marcus. And he gets the call. Cutting back to the 8-yard line, 8 yards away from a touchdown that would be number 111, and another milestone in the career of a great player.
You know, you're sitting here watching Detroit on defense, and Phil, if they don't blitz, they really have a lot of problems, because when their defensive line sits there, all they do is wall them off. On that last play, Marcus Allen goes to the outside. Everybody's walled to the inside. There's nobody to make the play.
But what happens when they blitz, Paul?
They get a touchdown.
They give up these big plays. So, you know, Wayne Fonts was right. There's not a lot of great talent on defense, and that's one of the reasons why they struggle.
2nd and 6. Gannon can walk it in. Did he get in? They mark it right at the 1-foot line. Reggie Brown got a piece of him and denies the touchdown. It'll be 1st and goal for Kansas City, and that would give Marcus Allen the best of all possibilities for number 111.
Well, I would say one thing. If he had to start walking that in like you suggested, he'd have gotten killed. You know, Reggie Brown was at the outside. Watch this. I'll tell you, Gannon really does the smart thing and runs with the football.
And he scores.
Yeah, that was a touchdown.
Football hits the pylon and is part of the end zone.
Allen waits. Marcus has it. Marcus has his 111th touchdown in a great career. He passes Walter Payton. He says he'll hold on to it for a while because he knows Emmitt Smith is breathing right behind.
Look at it, and here comes the bench is clearing for Marcus. They're all out there to congratulate him. You know, it is. I'm gonna bring it up, and I know you wouldn't. You did his first touchdown, you did his 100th touchdown, and now you do his NFL record-breaking touchdown. That's magnificent.
Well, that's just good luck. And Marcus Allen.
He told you last night he was going to do it for you.
Well, he said it was hard not to last week against San Diego, but he said the Chargers got such a big lead he didn't have many opportunities. Pete Stoyanovich, who grew up just a half-hour drive from this stadium, kicks the extra point, and Marcus Allen's record-scoring rushing touchdown gives Kansas City a 7-0 lead. 91 yards and 9 plays. The payoff to Marcus Allen. Number 111.
There's Marcus.
Stoyanovich sends a sidewinder down to Glenn Milburn inside the 5. Milburn leaves his blockers and makes a good move out across the 25-yard line. Tackled by Danon Hughes. Marcus Allen, number 1 pick by the Raiders out of Southern California, Rookie of the Year, then the most valuable player the last time the AFC won the Super Bowl, setting records through the way, but there were low moments, 4 years where he didn't play much for Al Davis's Raiders, then signed by the Chiefs 3 years ago, and just continued moving up the list of all-time running backs, and now is the leader in both receptions and rushing touchdowns. Barry Sanders. What a move he put on Anthony Davis. It didn't net a lot of yardage, but Davis is still wondering where he went.
This is where I'm telling you, you lose your jock. This play right here, I'm telling you, Davis is standing out there. I've got him. I've got Barry Sanders. I'm going to drop him right in his tracks. He's not going to gain a yard, and he just put so many moves on Davis, he didn't know where to go.
So already T-shirts with the record 111. Celebrating Allen's accomplishment. 2nd and 9. Mitchell looking down the middle. Overthrows his man. It was Herman Moore. Johnny Morton was in the area as well.
Well, the one thing the Detroit Lions thought they could do today is throw across the field because of the tight coverage the corners of the Kansas City Chiefs like to play. They do not like to cover the crossing routes. Herman Moore was open. The ball is just delivered too high.
And the one thing about Herman Moore, you got to understand, folks, he hasn't practiced this week, and he said, I'm having trouble getting off the line of scrimmage, and he did not make any cuts. He didn't even warm up.
Moore with 77 catches coming in, 2nd in the league, under some pressure, but open is Brett Perriman, and Perriman very fast down the sidelines to the Kansas City 37. 35-yard play for Perriman.
Well, they talk about crossing the formations with the Detroit receivers because Kansas City in their man coverage, they get confused sometimes who has the receiver once he crosses the field, and that's what happened to Brett Perriman that time. No defender there to cover him.
Collins is so far back off. He's just playing deep, and there's just no chance for him to come up and make a tackle.
Perriman, who's the first line ever to catch over 400 passes, at 401 starting today. Sanders And read well by Davis. So this time Anthony Davis didn't let Sanders get away.
Well, the one thing Anthony Davis did on this play is he's coming. When he sees him, he goes right after him. He doesn't sit there and wait on him. Now, Davis, when you're going to see what he does, he'll come up inside right here. Now, watch. As soon as the area is there and I attack him, I don't let him put the moves on me.
Anthony Davis from the University of Utah, out of the Sweet Onion Country, Pasco, Washington. See Detroit minus 2 yards rushing. Of course, that's Barry Sanders' total in 5 tries. Mitchell, good protection. And his receiver, Barry Sanders, colliding with Anthony Davis at the 35, and a flag down right at the lap of Davis.
Well, that's a matchup the Detroit Lions love today.
They're pointing at Detroit, but when I saw, I'm serious, I'm looking at Collins, he's shaking, boy, this is against Detroit, and it isn't. I don't know how he can even think that.
No, Anthony Davis gets tangled up with Barry Sanders. He's expecting to come out and run one of those 5-yard routes, but he was
holding
going.
Defense, number 50, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
But Barry Sanders, he's not going to run a short route. He's going up the field. Anthony Davis says, uh-oh. Gets him with the foot, trips him up.
That's a bad call. I mean, they do that with the receivers going down the field where you get tangled up in their feet. He didn't try to trip the guy, Barry Sanders. It just happened.
5-yard penalty, but more importantly for Detroit on 2nd and long, a first down at the 40-yard line. Back to Sanders. Mitchell scrambling. And down at the 36-yard line, Donnie Edwards, the linebacker. Gain of 4. Scott Mitchell had a career game a year ago Thanksgiving when he passed for over 400 yards, and in fact had tremendous numbers a year ago. Look at that, 32 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
Well, we had a chance to talk to him yesterday, and he says, you know, this offense has struggled basically all year, and he says we change almost every week what we want to do.
Here comes Sanders. Breaks a tackle, stays in bounds. That's what they come to cheer.
You know, he just runs away from Derek Thomas. Watch Derek Thomas, 58. Barry Sanders gets the ball outside, and there's just no chance. Here are the moves that he makes after being downfield. Watch, he knows where the marker is and looks at it and gets back inside, picks up the first down.
Well, Derek Thomas, not one man can tackle Barry Sanders. You need help. He makes a mistake there going inside. If he makes Barry Sanders cut back, he has some help, but not outside. He had none.
Sanders' best run of this first quarter, 10 yards. Gets the call again with blockers in front. Oh, runs through that tackle as Mark Collins finally got him out of bounds, but Dale Carter just sweeping it clean air.
Derek Thomas does the exact same thing again. Watch him go inside, number 58. When you go inside and get taken inside, it just opens the outside, and you have no chance of getting there.
Well, Marty Schottenheimer told us you've got to corral Barry Sanders. One person can't do it. You need a lot of help, so stay in your lane, keep him inside so everybody can come in, help you make the tackle.
That's going to be the final play of this opening quarter. Back-to-back runs by Sanders, positioning the Lions at Kansas City's 16-yard line. End of a quarter, 7-0 Kansas City. Welcome back. Barry Sanders leading this drive by Detroit that's taken the Lions to the KC 16. Starting slowly, but typical of Sanders. Once he finds some room, he knows where to take it.
Marty Schottenheimer, he said that to us. That's what he was sitting on a keg of dynamite.
Thanksgiving Day, like every Sunday for Sanders, can be a feast. There's some of his better games. Averaging 4.9 every time he's run the ball in his 8 years in the league, and each season over 1,000 yards for Sanders. Mitchell into the end zone. Morton, touchdown. Johnny Morton. It's quite a trio of receivers for Scott Mitchell. Morton with his 5th touchdown catch. Perriman has 5. Herman Moore leads with 8.
Isn't it ironic when we see this later on how he was telling us about this Mitchell throwing the ball behind the guy.
Throw it behind him. Defensive backs are terrible, he says, at making adjustments.
Hansen to try the point after. And it's tied at 7 as the Lions go 73 yards in 8 plays. The payoff, Mitchell 16 yards to Morton. The Lions and the Chiefs are tied at 7. Well, the Lions, first play of the second quarter, tie it up at 7. Hansen kicks it off. Van over deep at the goal line. Former Florida State star gets a crease, but flags fly as he's tackled at the 24-yard line. Check the penalty. Gary Lane, the man in the white hat on Thanksgiving Day, signals holding against the returning Chiefs.
Holding on the return team, number 41. 10-yard penalty to the spot of the foul. First down.
Your man Reggie Tongue.
He's going to get a lashing over there, I'll tell you.
Let's take a look at the touchdown, and Johnny Morton, the receiver, against James Hasty, the defensive back, and watch the coverage that James Hasty has on the receiver. But Scott Mitchell says we work on this. Throw it behind the receiver when they're going down the field because the defensive back will not make the adjustment. Good execution by the Lions right there.
Barry Sanders getting a retape job.
Herman Moore has left to go to the locker room as well. Kansas City again starts from inside the 10. They went 91 yards on the last possession. Gannon steps away, caught from behind, but he picks up some yardage to the 11. Robert Porcher denied the sack.
This is what Phil Simms talked about at the beginning about more mobility. Robert Porcher from South Carolina State comes upfield. Eric Walker trying to block, but watch this mobility. Should have been tackled in the backfield. Porcher stays with it, but he ends up Gannon picking up about 3 yards on the play.
Porcher with 7 sacks to lead the Lions and 3 forced fumbles. That's also tops for Detroit. Second and a short 8 over the middle by Sean LaChapelle, and was he drilled?
That was a dart. That was a dart.
Ryan Stewart put a little punctuation mark on it defensively.
Well, Rich Gannon throwing in some tight coverage. Quite a few defensive backs around Sean LaChapelle, but a perfect throw. The receiver right there where he can catch it and hold on to it while taking a hard lick. Rich Gannon, plenty of arm strength, moves around, trying to bring a little excitement to the Kansas City offense.
Second catch for LaChapelle, his 20th since joining Kansas City. Again Gannon, and he got that ball away in the direction of Kimball Anderson. No flag as Luther Ellis, #1 pick of the Lions a year ago out of Utah, had the pressure.
Well, you got to remember one thing about Gannon, though, too, Dick. Now, he played at Minnesota, so he started there. He knows what's going on, and this is really a heads-up play.
Yes, it is. You're a defensive lineman. You do a good job of beating the blocker. You get back there, you think you got a sack, and the quarterback throws it away. Well, it's just not fair. He puts his hands on the official, and Gary Lane, hey, he's begging. Yes, please.
Let me have a sack.
Gary Lane's the next quarterback. He didn't want to hear it.
Where's the holiday spirit? Ellis wants to know. It's Greg Hill hit at the 27, the 28-yard line. Well short of a first down. Hill, who has carried for nearly 300 yards in the last 4 games and averaging 5.8. And here's Herman Moore back from the locker room, playing with an injured knee. Let's get a report from Jim Gray.
Herman Moore just went back into the locker room by himself without the trainers, Dick. He just needed an equipment adjustment. His left knee is still bothering him. He's in some pain, but he says he will continue.
Moore will be back in that high-powered Detroit offense. Meanwhile, it's Kansas City, 3rd down and 5. defensive lineman's dream with a Thanksgiving Day touchdown. But let's see who created it. It looked to be Porcher who hit Gannon.
Well, sometimes when you have a scrambling quarterback, moves around, buys himself some extra time, that's what's going to happen. A defensive lineman gets that extra second, can come in and cause a turnover.
Porcher gets it, and he's ISO. Look at the hustle. Now, see Sigler right here. Watch what happens. Porcher gets it. Watch what Sigler does. Now, Gannon might have gotten the ball, but Sigler comes in on top of it and knocks the ball away. That goes into the end zone. Touchdown.
And you saw Kimball Anders trying to reach in for Kansas City, was injured on the play as Barry Sanders cheers the gift. Porcher with his 12th sack and his 4th forced fumble, setting it up for teammate Mike Wells. And now they attend to Kimball Anders, who was reaching in trying to at least save a touchdown. It would have been a safety, but is injured on the play.
You know, you can't, first of all, Sigler gets beat on the block. That's number one. But you can't blame him for going after the ball, Phil. He's trying to get the ball back, and he just really knocks Gannon off the ball. Gannon may have had it. Watch Sigler, number 66. He's the guy that reaches in, knocks the ball away. Now, you see the guy that's on the ground, 95?
Mike Wells, 95.
Watch who ends up with the ball. He was on the ground. There's Wells. See what happens when you hustle, get up off the ground, get a touchdoon.
And rookie Kerwin Waldrop had the touchdown and just kind of fumbled it to his teammate. He'll be kidded about that all next week.
That thing takes some funny bounces when it's laying there on the ground. You know that?
Always has.
Yeah.
Jason Hansen for the extra point. We'll get a report on Anders as soon as we can, and it's now 14-7. So the Lions here in the second quarter in 2.5 minutes have 14 points.
Hi, this is Barry Sanders, and I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, especially the Sanders family back there in Wichita.
That's a long oration for Sanders. We said, "Have you ever get excited?" He said, "I'll get excited when I score the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. Then you'll see me excited." Gale Sayers is the man they compare Sanders with, and they both are from Wichita. Vanover. Hit shy of the 20-yard line. Scott Kolkowski, whose dad played here for many years, an offensive tackle with the Lions. We remind you, NBC's Thanksgiving Spectacular begins tonight. Home Alone. Friday, network premiere, D2, The Mighty Ducks. Saturday, the network premiere, Beethoven's Second. And Sunday, the mega hit, Jurassic Park. Thanksgiving Spectacular, great movies all weekend long here on NBC. And don't forget tonight, after Home Alone, NBC presents a memorable episode of ER. From the 19, Kansas City trailing 14-7. 12 minutes left here in the opening half. Donnell Bennett in the backfield. It's Hill with a flag down, and Hill for a couple, tripped up by Porcher, who is seemingly everywhere in this first half.
Boy, this is that area where holding by the offensive line. You know, Marty Schottenheimer said something to us yesterday. He said, I've got to get into that double digits, give away that takeaway part, and they're not doing it. They just give one away for a touchdown.
Well, that's been a signature of Kansas City and Schottenheimer.
Holding offense, number 69. Half the distance to the goal line. Repeat first down.
Well, that's Jeff Criswell, number 69, and this is something that's going to happen when you play the Detroit Lions or any team coached by John Teerlinck. They shoot the gaps, they try to get upfield inside, so a lot of times the angles are tough for offensive linemen. The only way they can stop something is to reach out and hold.
Now first down and 20 for Gannon and the Chiefs. Great play. Runs into his own blocker, but stays on his feet and battles for about 7. Jim?
Dick Kimball Anders, the starting fullback for the Chiefs, left elbow contusion. He'll be reevaluated later on as the game progresses. His return is questionable.
Well, they can use this. They need this guy. He's not only one of their better receivers coming out of the backfield, but he's an outstanding blocker.
Kimball Anders, who rushed for a couple and had 2 catches before the injury today. Second down 11. And it's Hill again, blasting out to the 24-yard line. Hill was over the 500-yard mark with 43 yards today, and so far with 19 on the afternoon, but productive, a 4.7 average. We saw earlier in the season behind Marcus Allen, limited effect, but it's really solid the last 4.
Well, we asked Marty Schottenheimer, I said, well, why didn't this guy get more chances at the beginning of the season? He's so productive now, and he says, well, he's been practicing hard, he's gotten better, and that's the reason why he's getting a chance to run the football lately.
3rd and 4.5, and Hill doesn't make it. Tackled at the 27, and a flag goes down. From the secondary, the flag is tossed. Reggie Brown spearheaded the defensive charge, the linebacker.
Well, Ryan Stewart, number 38, was saying he got hit downfield, and I don't know if it was he is the guy that did it. Joe Horn was the guy going downfield, but I saw Ryan Stewart, number 38 for Detroit, complain about something.
Stewart seeing more and more playing time. The rookie 3rd-round pick from Georgia Tech.
Let me see.
Clipping against the Chiefs.
During the run, clipping number 84 on the offense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Repeat 3rd down.
So they're not going to decline the penalty, which would have brought on the punting team. That's a bit surprising.
Well, Joe Horn, number 84, you could see that he's blocking him from the back or hits him from the side.
He missed him. He missed the guy.
Now they do decline the penalty. Detroit does. They want the ball, obviously, and Aguiar will punt it away. With Glenn Milburn back at the Lion 30.
Paulie did miss him, but the attention is what I think got the attention of the ref, is the fact that he was going low and hitting from the side.
Milburn acquired in a trade with Denver at the start of the season to the 35 and 38-yard line. 45-yard punt, 10 on the return. On comes Scott Mitchell, and the Lions offense leading 14-7.
Welcome back to Detroit. Well, today is Thanksgiving, and a very nice gesture by the Lion wives as well as the organization itself. They are collecting coats for the underprivileged from the fans who have come in today. So far, they've collected more than 1 ton of coats. Over the past 5 years, they've collected 7 tons. That's about 5,000 coats. They will be distributed by the Salvation Army to all of the underprivileged and needy here in the Detroit area. Dick?
All right, Jim, that is a nice story. It's a time to be thankful for giving, and the giving part really does make you feel better than all the rest. Now, there's different kinds of giving when you talk to that man, Fonz.
Yeah.
They've been giving him the booze all season long.
Yesterday we had a chance to talk to him, and usually we ask the head coach about 20 questions. And yesterday, Wayne Fonz, he asked the questions and answered them. We just sat there and listened.
Paul finally said, "You got any questions for me?"
Yeah.
After a loss by Sanders. Intercepted. It's the rookie Edwards going for the 25 and out of bounds at the 24. Johnny Morton saved a touchdown. Donnie Edwards in his first start has his first NFL interception.
And Phil, it wasn't the pressure, it's the fact that Scott Mitchell stood back there and just looked at that one receiver the entire time.
Well, Paul, he steps up in the pocket. I think he feels the defensive players get around him. The receiver is wide open. The ball just gets away from him. He overthrows Johnny Morton, and Donnie Edwards he's thankful. Scott Mitchell does a good job stepping up in the pocket, but what he does, he stops, he dips under the ball, makes it go high. That's the reason for the interception.
Yeah, Mitchell's been in the giving mode. He threw 3 picks last Sunday against Chicago. So first down at the 24 for Gannon. He gives to Hill. Hill corralled after short yardage. Benny Blades up quickly, number 36 from his safety spot, along with Ryan Stewart.
You know, you would think it'd be difficult to get outside on this Detroit team because their defense is so used to practicing day in and day out against Barry Sanders. So to try to run wide on these guys, I think it's almost impossible. You've got to go from tackle to tackle.
That's right, because they love to come upfield. Sometimes they'll tackle you for maybe a yard loss, but every once in a while, because they get up the field, they create big holes for the opposing team's running game.
Second down 8. Hill again has some blockers inside the 20 to the 17, about 2.5 yards short of the first down. Robert Porcher has been the star defensively for the Lions in this first half, just lightning fast off the line of scrimmage, harassing Gannon and finally creating a fumble that would lead to a Detroit score. And here it comes. Eventually Mike Walls falling on the ball in the end zone to give the Lions a 14-7 lead. Now a critical 3rd down and 3 for Kansas City. Gannon to the end zone. Caught. What a catch by Chris Penn for a touchdown. 17 yards, a spectacular catch, and Penn injured on the play.
I cannot believe that he caught that ball. Van Malone coming in underneath and hits him. Then hold on to this football. This is a tremendous catch.
17 yards on the play, and let's take another look.
You see Chris Penn on the outside. It's just a quick post route. The ball actually looks like it gets past him, gets his fingertips on it. And what a job holding on to it, because he knew he could see the safety coming across. He knew he was going to take a big hit.
Watch the shot by Malone right at the screen. Bam! Right here, and still holds on to the ball. You know what I think? I think McNeil helped him by bringing his arm in. He helped him pull the ball in. McNeil has his arm around the back. Now watch McNeil, 47. See him pull it back into him? He helps him pull the ball in. But what a shot. Take a look at this shot. Watch 47. He helps watch. He brings the ball in with his arm, and then the shot he takes by Van Malone.
And Chris Penn is still down on the field in the end zone.
Donnie Edwards, his first NFL interception, leading to the tying touchdown, as Penn with his 5th touchdown catch. Young man out of Tulsa, where his quarterback was Gus Frerotte, who's working today in the practice field, getting ready for the Skins game on Sunday.
Rich Gannon on the play. After he throws the touchdown, he hops around like he might have hurt his foot. He sets and he throws.
Yeah, his own man Sigler stepped on his foot. Sigler's got to get out of the way. You watch number 66 Sigler. You watch him step on his foot right there.
And wow, it'd be tough for Gus Frerotte to be on the practice field today, right? I mean, with the Redskins. I think they play a little bit later this afternoon.
Well, I thought you meant he was down there warming up.
Well, that's right. Well, that's what I meant.
That's right. Yeah. He likes to warm up early for the games.
And you had a week off and you're not rested?
I am rested. Too rested. Timeout. 14-13, awaiting the extra point. Good to see Chris Penn leaving the field under his own power. What a catch. That'll go into his highlight reel.
That was a magnificent catch. It really was. You talk about total concentration on a ball.
Stoyanovich adds the extra point, and it's tied at 14. Flag down. Short field touchdown for the Chiefs after the Donnie Edwards interception. 22-yard run to the 24, and 3 plays later Gannon hitting Penn. Penn, sensational collegiate career at Tulsa. He caught more passes than Steve Largent. Broke great Congressman Largent's records there with Canes.
Well, they had the run and shoot going on at Tulsa. 4 wide receivers, and well, in college, his talent and Gus Frerotte, the quarterback, that usually would mean a lot of catches for a wide receiver.
They're working on his mouth. I see the doctor saying, open your mouth, open your mouth.
His jaw.
Penalty, meanwhile, is against Kansas City, so they're going to have to try the extra point from 10 yards farther back. Jim?
Dick, it's the left side of Chris Penn's jaw. He took a whack in the face there, came off the field trying to exercise his jaw. They don't know if it's out of alignment or if they'll have to set it back in, but his return is probable. Dick?
All right. And now Stoyanovich back on the field after the holding penalty. And this will be about a 30-yard extra point. Stoyanovich, who Grew up cheering for the Lions. Eddie Murray was his idol, and later, of course, got to meet Murray and considers him a close friend. And he drills that one, and a 14-all tie. One more look at one of the top catches of the year. Chris Penn of Kansas City pays the price. The dividend is a 14-all tie. Look again as McNeil from behind, and then Malone from in front. Watch Malone as he comes in, makes the hit, upper chest, and catches part of the chin as well. Now the kickoff, tied at 14 with 8 minutes left in this first half. To Milburn at the 3. And flags down as Milburn tackled at the 24-yard line by you-know-who, that man Reggie Tongue.
Paul's favorite player now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I want to talk about Reggie Tongue as a player, not as a guy that holds. Two flags against him.
Illegal block in the back above the waist. Number 30 on the return team, half the distance to the goal line. First down.
You know, when teams are struggling, Phil, and you get special teams usually can't pick up things for you, and here's a case where the team that's really struggling, and then you get a block in the back right there by
Corey Schlesinger from Nebraska.
Yeah, he blocks in the back and puts your team that's struggling in a hole.
So from the 9-yard line, it's Mitchell. Barry Sanders to the outside. And very little gain as Anthony Davis held his ground. Reminder, Sunday, NBC Sports, a doubleheader beginning at 12 noon Eastern. Most of you will see a battle in the AFC East. The Colts host the Bills in the early game. Others, AFC Central matchups, Steelers, Ravens, or Bengals, Jaguars. Then in the second half of the doubleheader, most of you will be with us as we go out to the Bay Area. Jeff Hostetler and the Raiders against Dan Marino and the Dolphins. Some of you will see a mighty Elway and the Broncos against the Seahawks, the Oilers, and the Jets. That's 12 noon doubleheader. NBC this coming Sunday.
Dan Marino having a season for himself.
Mitchell batted in the air by Derek Thomas. Very close to an interception, touchdown for Thomas.
They're trying to throw the ball out here to Pete Metzelaars, the real big tight end that was in Buffalo for a lot of years. And look at Derek Thomas. Reads. Now watch this vertical jump. That's why when they talk about guys in their vertical leap, how high they can get, that's why it's important.
Well, it helps to be a good athlete, but that shows you what has kind of happened to this Detroit offense. They love to throw the ball short. Last year, every team was letting them do it. This year, everybody's pressing them, taking those short passes away.
3rd down and 9. Mitchell underneath. Perriman diving to the 19, and it looks as if he got enough for the first down. Donnie Edwards with the covering tackle. 10 yards on the play.
Now, you know, we've done a couple Kansas City games this year, and they almost always press and play man coverage. Watch as the play goes along this time. You're going to see a big hole back here for the receiver to come into. The defense drops back. Nobody's really covered. Look at the space the receiver has to catch the football and get up the field.
Now it's Sanders, and he's wrapped up in the backfield by Brian Washington, who came up from his safety spot to hand the Lions a 4-yard loss.
Did you see Brian Washington, though? When he came up, he was forcing, he was blitzing. It looked like he was blitzing. He sees Barry Sanders, and he hesitated for a second. Do I go after him or do I wait on him? And he went after him and made the play. Sanders almost got away from him.
Washington, like his counterpart of the Lions, Benny Blades, leads the Chiefs in tackles. Former Jet. His teammates admire his hitting prowess. 2nd and 13 draw. How does he keep his balance? Sanders up the sideline. Collins to beat. And Collins gets him out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
What really makes this play work is the fact that the tackle, Zephyrus Moss, gets out in front, makes an excellent block. Watch number 71 at the end of the line of scrimmage. Boom, steps up, gets the extra linebacker. Donnie Edwards creates the hole for Barry Sanders.
You know who else got an outstanding block was Pete Metzelaar's number 89, because he stayed with Neil Smith. He didn't block him. He forced him to the outside and would not allow him to come back in and close it off.
Ron Rivers gives Sanders a break after that 40-yard run. And he's hitting the backfield, Rivers, and he was trying to move upstream. Dropped at the 48. Davis and Traylor, the tacklers. 1,000-yard rushing seasons. No one in the history of the game in the first 8 years in the NFL has rushed for 1,000 yards each season until Barry Sanders arrived.
And yesterday when we talked to Barry Sanders, the question that always comes up, everybody talks about it, how would he do if he had a fullback in the backfield with him all the time? We ask him, he says, really, I think a fullback would just get in my way. Because
another guy to run around.
He doesn't know where he's going. He just takes it and says, okay, where's the hole? I'll hit it.
Second down and 16. Mitchell with a blitz on, able to get it away for a short gain as he was hit on the blind side. It appeared to be Tony Stargell coming in from a defensive back position.
Well, Scott Mitchell fortunate right here. Here comes Tony Stargell, nobody blocking him. He's able to get rid of the football just before he gets hit, because he never saw Tony Stargell coming.
Did you see watch Tony Stargell jump up in the air? You got to remember now, Mitchell's 6'6".
Yeah.
And Stargell had a leap to get to his shoulder pads.
Try to tackle the Eiffel Tower.
6'6", about 250.
That is funny.
Short gain, third down and 10 at the 42.
Barry's back.
They show blitz again. Here comes Collins. The quick throw is complete. And a good move by Brett Perriman to pick up the first down. They had him 2 yards shy, but Dale Carter unable to keep him contained, and Perriman picks up the first down yardage.
Long yardage situation, you blitz, you want him to throw the ball quick so you can tackle him for the short gain. Marcus Collins, good job timing the blitz again, comes through free, but the Kansas City defense gets confused on who to cover. Dale Carter's too late.
You know what else is happening? They're not even looking at Herman Moore. Herman Moore is having a tough time. He's on hasty, and he's having a tough time getting off the line of scrimmage. That knee is really bothering him.
That's more way out to the bottom of your picture. Sanders to the 25-yard line. A gain of nearly 6 before Brian Washington can corral him.
You know, you were saying one thing about Barry Sanders. Let's not put a fullback back there because he may get in the way. But the one thing about Barry Sanders, he really does not take big hits.
That's right.
He looks at him. Now, here's a hit there. That looks like a big hit, but it's not. He's leaning away from the hit. He knows how to fall, and he knows how to get down when he has to.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why he hasn't been hurt much in his career, and he's going to be productive for a long time.
Oh, play action. Halfback pass for Moore. Intercepted in the end zone. Mark Collins gets his 6th interception of the year. The Chiefs had that one well covered.
Mark Collins told us yesterday, he says, I sit back there at safety, and in case one of my defensive backs is a little too aggressive against a run, I'm looking for that option pass by the halfback, and this time he reads it perfectly.
You know what I don't understand? I really don't understand the play. Why put it in here now when you're moving the ball so very well? Everything is working for you, Phil. You're running the short passes. This guy's running well, and the coverage, and they're throwing it to Herman Moore, who can't get off the line of scrimmage.
Well, Paul, you're running here because everything is working. You want the defense to be aggressive and come up. But Barry Sanders, you know, not a very good decision maker and when to throw the football. Did not carry the fake out long enough either. The defense was just not full.
Yeah, and Barry's got to understand between the white shirts and the little blue shirt.
Yeah.
Because he threw a touchdown and Collins had the ball.
He thought it was a good pass for him. He threw a nice ball. It was a half of a spiral.
Sanders, who has thrown 2 passes prior to that one in his career, 1 for 2. Here's Marcus Allen. Stepping through a hole, driving for a first down across the 30-yard line. The last time the Lions had a running back pass for a touchdown was 12 years ago against the Eagles. James Jones connected. It was a 22-yarder to the quarterback, Gary Danielson. The Eagles and Lions played to a tie that day, 23-23. In fact, the last time that the Lions played to a tie.
You ever catch a touchdown pass?
No.
Oh, that's right. I saw you drop a couple.
Sure did.
2-minute warning. The give is to Kimball Anders, who's back in there. That's a good news for the Chiefs, and he picks up 14 and the first down at the 45 at the 2-minute warning. 1:55 left in the first half. Mark Callens saves a score. It's still tied at 14. The Silverdome with a capacity of 80,368, the largest in the NFL, just a few hundred more than Rich Stadium Buffalo. Look at this passing technique of Sanders.
We're going to have to give him a few techniques. You're supposed to grab the laces, Barry, not the back of the ball.
Still threw a pretty nice pass.
Not bad.
Into double coverage. First down Chiefs, less than 2 to go. Marcus Allen to midfield. Clock running, 1:50 left in this first half.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, but Wayne Fonts has told Scott Mitchell many times, look, when you drop back, just throw it to Herman Moore. I don't care if he's covered or what, and maybe Barry Sanders had the same message.
5, no huddle for Gannon, who throws to Walker, the tight end, and Derek Walker, who played nearby at the University of Michigan, knocked out of bounds close to the first down. A reminder coming up at halftime, Greg Gumbel, Mike Ditka, Joe Gibbs, Chris Collinsworth for the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. In addition to analyzing our first half, I'll have a look at the Buffalo Bills' Bryce Pop, last year's NFL Defensive Player of the Year. One of the several injured Bills who face the Colts this Sunday in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I live in Buffalo, and Bryce Pop has been hurt for a few games, and they're not sure when he's going to be able to come back, and he's a big key to their defense.
3rd down and 2. Allen finds enough, gets into the Detroit 45-44 yard line. Stephen Boyd makes the tackle, and a timeout is spent with 1:21 left in the second quarter. Marcus Allen, those eyes wide open, finds the hole, and the Chiefs continue their drive. Yeah, those Al Szymanski with that very creative opening to our telecast today.
It was terrific.
First down Chiefs just inside the Detroit 45, tied at 14. One timeout left for Kansas City. This is Todd McNair, his first carry today, toppled at the 41 yard line. 1:15, and Gannon will hurry him to the line of scrimmage.
The one thing I think Barry Sanders and Marcus Allen have in common, they both glide and they don't take the big hit, neither one of them.
The final minute of the half. Gannon looking for the screen to McNair, and the Lions were waiting for it, but he gets away momentarily, finally tripped up. Corey Raymond from a corner to get the ball carrier to the carpet.
Outstanding. Reggie Brown made a tremendous play. You've got all of these linemen. Watch this. You know what really bothers me on a screen? You got linemen that come out and they're looking back at the guy catching the ball. Forget him. He's going to catch it. Turn around and hit the guy in front of you.
Reminder, Saturday at 2 o'clock Eastern, legendary head coach Eddie Robinson will lead his Grambling State Tigers against the Jaguars of Southern. State Farm Bayou Classic. It features always the spectacular Battle of the Bands at halftime. That's Saturday at 2 here on NBC.
Now I'm going to tell you something. You know, I think what the Grambling Band is probably booked until 2020.
The next millennium, that's for sure.
They are just, both of these bands are absolutely, I mean, sometimes, most of the time, they're better than the game.
You know, with all the rhythm you have, you'd have been good in that band.
I'd have been great in that band.
Yeah.
Head drum major.
No, they don't have any uniforms big enough for you, though.
By the way, time permitting on this holiday, Paul McGuire will share with our audience 15 of his favorite turkey jokes. So please don't wander away. Meanwhile, Rich Gannon, with all his timeouts spent, 49 seconds. Screen to Anders. Inside the 40, short of the first down at the 38, and that brings up 4th down. And timeout called now by Detroit.
Good job by Detroit calling a timeout.
And they still have 2 remaining.
Because this might stop the Chiefs from going for it on 4th down. I think what Marty Schottenheimer wanted, let the clock keep running, run a play, and if we pick up a 1st down or get in field goal range, then just kill the clock and get a chance at a long field goal.
And the other thing it does, Phil, if they do try a long field goal here on 4th down and miss, the Lions get the ball with good field position and still have some time to maybe work their way into field goal range themselves.
I was just watching Marty Schottenheimer's lips, and Gannon said something, and Marty looked at me and said, I don't think you can make it. But they're going to come out and they're going to go for it on 4th down. They took a little bit away from Mike Shanahan last week in the Denver game.
Stoyanovich looking for an opportunity, and Marty Schottenheimer's Chiefs have been in the playoffs 6 consecutive years. That tops all the teams. And when you go down to the fact that he was at Cleveland and was in the playoffs as well so many times, he really knows how to get them to at least the early dances of the party, if not to the final dance.
One of those long count deals?
No. 4th down draw. Gannon. Quarterback draw works for the 1st down.
That's what Rich Gannon was saying. I think I can get it on a quarterback draw. Empty the backfield. Spread the defense out. Plenty of time. Kill the clock.
Oh, he's going to go for it to the sidelines. Underneath to Reggie Johnson, the tight end. He stays in bounds, however, to the 22. But now they're well in Pete Stoyanovich range, and Marty Schottenheimer orchestrating with 7-6. They've got to get the ball down to kill the clock.
Look at Gannon's looking at the 24-second clock.
And they just do it. Does he get it down, or did it? It's at 0 now. Let's see what referee Gary Lane calls.
You know what happened? Reggie Johnson was hurt. He couldn't get back up off the turf. Reggie Johnson couldn't get up, and Gannon looked out there and saw him on the other side of the line of scrimmage and couldn't get the play off.
Gannon was looking at the 24-second clock instead of the game clock. The 24-second clock still had time upon it.
But look it up here on the top, Phil.
Reggie Johnson finally lining up. Well, they got this. The ball was snapped before at 1 second remaining. But Gannon didn't really down the ball. It was more like the ball slipped through his fingers. The frustration of the head coach battling to try to get that 3-point chance.
Well, the whole team was a little too nonchalant. They should have been hustling up to the line of scrimmage. Get down as fast as you can. When you throw the ball inbounds in that situation, you got to know the clock is working against you.
So Marty Schottenheimer ever so close to getting that clock stopped. Denied. It's tied at 14 at the half. We go to Gumbel and NFL on NBC in New York right after these words from your local station. We get ready for the second half. The Chiefs and Lions tied at 14, and a very interesting first half in terms of the two featured performers, Barry Sanders and Marcus Allen. They're both over 60 yards, both averaging over 5 yards a carry, so they've matched each other's efforts, as have the two teams in score. Look at Marcus with a historic touchdown and 62, and Barry with a yard more.
Well, we knew that Detroit, they're going to run the ball. Barry Sanders, why not? The thing that's kind of bothered me, Phil, a little bit about this game with the Kansas City Chiefs, how conservative they've been in this first half. The only long pass really is the one to Penn for the touchdown.
Well, use Rich Gannon's mobility, get him outside, move him around, let him get the football down the field, because this Detroit defense has been giving up big plays for the last 6 weeks. Continue, keep their confidence down and try to make those big plays.
And the other issue, of course, was the last play of the first half when Marty Schottenheimer appeared to have a legitimate argument. He should have had the opportunity to try a field goal. Glenn Milburn takes the kickoff to start the second half and returns to the Detroit 24-yard line. Let's go back to the final play. Watch the clock, lower right-hand side. Gannon takes the snap and downs the ball with a good second left. So Stoyanovich should have had the time to come on the field and try what would have been about a 38-yard field goal to break the tie. Jim Gray has more.
Dick, I spoke to Marty Schottenheimer. He was very upset. He confronted the head umpire, Gary Lane, as he left the field, and Lane told him that when his head linesman looked up at the clock that there was no time left, but clearly there was a second. Marty Schottenheimer is going to continue to run the ball in the second half. I spoke to Wayne Fonts, and he said that's just fine with him. We'll stay in our soft defense and force them to throw the ball. Until they do, we're going to stay soft. Dick?
Herman Moore with his first catch of the game, and 11-yard play and a first down at the 35 as we check our Coors Light halftime statistics. And the Chiefs running almost at will against this Detroit defense. A couple of turnovers by the Lions, one by Donnie Edwards. An interception led to a Detroit score.
You know, the one thing at the end of the first half, Dick, I did not like. Rich Gannon, the quarterback, he throws a pass that's inbounds. He's looking to the sideline for what to do. You know, he's got to know he got to kill the clock, hustle the team up there, and get it done. Wasted too much time looking for direction.
Mitchell sidearms one out to Moore, and Moore down at the 42-yard line. Dale Carter, the defender for Kansas City. Moore, again, if you're just joining us, playing with a very painful knee injury suffered in Chicago Sunday.
Well, Moore comes underneath, and when he catches the ball, watch, he makes a couple of moves, and then about the third move, the leg goes. Watch this. Bink, and the leg goes out. I'm down.
Herman told us that it's tough on the football field, but it's even tough when he comes home.
Yeah,
his wife is taking kickboxing lessons.
So she demonstrates every day the new moves she makes on him, and
that can be really dangerous to your health. Well, Sanders ripped in the backfield as Donnie Edwards, the rookie, again making the play, the linebacker for Kansas City.
One night Herman Moore's wife connected right to the head, and down he went.
He said, "You almost knocked me out." So now he said, "I'm very cautious when I go in the house."
What'd you say? He has to wear a cup in his pajamas now.
Angela, his wife, keeps things interesting. She trains with Herman and was an outstanding star at Virginia herself, a 400 and 800 meter runner. 3rd down and 4. Into the flat, open is Perriman. And Brett Perriman, who led the Lions in catches with 5 in the first half, has another. Brian Washington, the defender.
This is something this Detroit offense did so well last year and had so much success with it. No matter what the situation, the defense a little scared of the speed and the talent outside, so they play soft. So 3rd and 4, 5 yards, they always throw it outside, pick up those easy first downs.
First down at the 45. Sanders lined up behind Scott Mitchell. 3 wide receiver attack. Mitchell comes onto it, picks up a couple to the 48. Vaughn Booker down low to trip him up.
Derek Thomas has Mitchell in the backfield all by himself, and he hesitates. Instead of going right through the quarterback, watch Derek Thomas, 58. He comes in, watch him hesitate right here. When he hesitates, Mitchell sees him and goes. I mean, he already has the blocker beat. He has Mitchell for the sack and the loss, and he stopped.
Well, as a left-handed quarterback, he figured that as he would try to escape toward Thomas, but did not. And Keith Traylor was the injured Kansas City Chief. Timeout 3 minutes into the second half. Back in the indoors. 2nd down and 8 for the Lions near midfield. Traylor was not seriously injured. Underneath to the tight end Metzelaars at the 44, where it'll be 3rd down and 4. You saw that skyline shot of the city of Detroit. The years are numbered for the Lions to play in this 80,000 seat facility, the Silverdome. Plans have been made for both the Lions and the Tigers to have side-by-side stadiums. On the left, the covered stadium, the Lions would be 65 to 75,000, and the open ballpark for the Detroit Tigers about 42,000 in the heart of the city. It would certainly generate a whole new heartbeat for the Motor City. Could happen around the year 2000. What a way to start the new millennium. Herman Moore has the hitch and the first down at the 38 as he goes over 1,000 yards for the season. And there's his wife Angela, their 2 sons. She athletic star at the University of Virginia along with Herman Moore.
Well, you know, Herman says she's trying to get a black belt in kickboxing. I said, why don't you just go out and buy her one, because it's going to be too dangerous for you. She's beating him up every time he comes home.
Got some moves. He said, boy, you don't even want to lean in, because she whistles that right foot by your chin. 1,001 yards, 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. That's never been done by a Lion receiver. interception. Davis deflected it, and Tony Stargell has his first interception as a Kansas City Chief. That's 3 interceptions by the Chiefs today.
Well, Scott Mitchell hesitates just for a second, and watch when the ball comes out of his hand. What happens to a quarterback? You hesitate a little. You look down the field. He wants to throw it. And watch it fall out of the bottom of his hand where you can't quite see it there. It goes lower than he anticipated. Look at it. Nose of the ball going down. Anthony Davis should have picked it off. Tony Stargell does.
Since taking the lead 14-7 early in the second quarter, the Lions' last 3 possessions, 3 interceptions, Kansas City, 2 of them thrown by Scott Mitchell, the other by Barry Sanders. Chiefs ball at the 27, their first possession of the second half, and Marcus Allen squeaks out a 3-yard pickup. The Chiefs have been terrors on the ground lately. They didn't start that well this year. They've been averaging almost 160 yards rushing a game the last 4, and they had 126 yards rushing the first half.
Well, and you know what, Dick? It's good they're running the football so well, but if you continue to stay with it, what it does, it takes the quarterback out of the game, and all of a sudden it's 3rd and 8, and you're going, come on, pick it up. Yeah, and it's too hard for the quarterback, so you got to keep Rich Gannon involved in this game.
2nd and 8, it's Allen again. And he gets only a yard to the 30.
If you're going to change quarterbacks like the Kansas City Chiefs did, and the very first play that they ran in this game, they took the backs out of the backfield, and you knew it was going to be a pass play. And you are absolutely correct, Phil. You just do not put this in the hands of the quarterback on 3rd down and say, okay, it's 3rd and 7, now you pick it up. It's not fair to him.
Tight end Reggie Johnson down after that last play. 1 catch. Steve Bono. They say that after he was told the news on Tuesday, the red-eyed came out of Marty Schottenheimer's office. First 3 games of the year, he was nearly perfect, 60%, 6 touchdowns, no picks. The last 9 games, this is what concerned Kansas City. And even though none of the Chiefs will talk about it, there is no question the undercurrent of Bono's disfavor goes back to the playoff loss a year ago. And so Bono replaced by Gannon as the Chiefs look ahead, and we have a timeout. Back at the Silverdome, tied in the 3rd quarter at 14. Even Gannon said it was an ugly week for Steve Bono. He said, but I understand. When I was at Minnesota, I was 8-3 and I was replaced. He said, the big deal is you want to finish what you start.
Well, of course he does, but it's more than just a record, Dick and Paul. We know this team has high hopes. Last year they probably were the best team in the AFC, get beat in the first round of the playoffs. A lot of problems, I think, with the players, with the way Steve Bono played in that playoff game. It continued during the offseason. And this week, the feeling in the locker room was if the switch wasn't made, that it could really be a problem for this team's morale, and there could be a little uprising or whatever. So Marty Schottenheimer, not that he felt the pressure to change, he just knew it was the right thing to do now because it might be the best thing for the playoffs.
And when we asked a few of the players too, Dick, about it, what do you think? And they hesitated for just a moment, and they said, yes, it is a good thing. It's something that had to be done.
Yeah.
And what, again, is, we talked about this at the beginning, I mean, there is a little bit of a catch. I mean, you've got a tricky situation here, because if something would happen to Gannon in this game or any other game, now you've got to go back to Bono and say, okay, I want you to lead our team into the playoffs.
Meanwhile, the injury to Reggie Johnson, the tight end, serious enough that they're going to use the cart. He was grabbing at his left ankle. 85, Johnson.
Now, Reggie Johnson, as you know, got hurt just in the last play of the first half. And here he is again. Watch his leg. It just buckles on him and pops. It's his left leg. It just leaves. He's driving on it, and it gave way. And now he's out.
That puts the Chiefs already thin receiving core. There's Keith Cash, not even suited up today. Johnson now out. That leaves the tight end duties entirely to Derek Walker. Of course, the wide receiver position has really been the Achilles of this Kansas City season. Losing Lake Dawson. Vanover lost for many games. So the 2 men they had counted on the outside, Dawson and Vanover, have seen little duty, and Chris Penn takes over.
Well, one thing about last year, 20 out of the 22 starters came back. 2 of the starters were offensive guys who were receivers that didn't come back.
Willie Davis being one of those. So 3rd down 7 for Gannon. Porcher pushing the pocket. The throw incomplete. And a flag down. Porcher driving right up the middle. And a flag thrown by the referee. Personal foul against the Lions.
Roughing the passer. You got this team in a 3rd down situation, and you let them off the hook. It's 3rd and 7, and then you hit the quarterback in the face.
Roughing the passer. Number 91 on the defense. Blow to the face. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Porcher, you got to watch his right arm, and what's going to happen? He's going to hit Gannon in the face. Here he is, forcing his way back, fighting his way through, and watch his right arm. Bam! He hits him right in the mouth. That's what they call.
Well, it's a tough call against the defensive lineman, Paul. He's reaching in there. He's got 2 guys blocking him. He sticks the hand up to try to stop the pass and get to the quarterback. He really accidentally hits the face mask.
15 yards later, 1st down at the 45. Gannon trips as he comes back from center, and now finally is down at the 39. Will Shields appeared to be pulling out, tripped up his own quarterback, and then Kerwin Waldrop credited with the tackle.
Will Shields, number 68. Good athlete, gets out quick. I think what's going to happen, Tim Grunhard might step on his foot. No, it's the guard, Dave Zott, the left guard, stepping back, trying to create a block. Steps on the quarterback's foot, and of course everybody in the stands goes, he's just a clumsy athlete. He fell down.
Actually, he had time to get up, but he didn't know that. He wasn't going to look.
He's waiting for that big hit.
2nd and 15. 2-yard gain, and it's Porcher again, along with Luther Ellis to make the tackle. And Robert Porcher has had an outstanding game.
No question about it. One of the better defensive players they have in this team. But I'm telling you, I'm getting upset now. I mean, you take a look at the team. You change quarterbacks, and you put this guy in a situation like this and take the game out of his hands. I mean, that was a bad pass he threw. He got hit in the head. But you've got to let him play.
You're right.
I don't want you to be upset. This is a day to enjoy the game. Don't touch yourself. Hold it. He agreed with me.
Well, you gotta give him a chance. All right, Rick, now it's 3rd and 12. Pick it up for us.
Gannon now scrambling, chased by London, and finally Benny Blades makes sure he gets out of bounds, and the Lions have held. One of the few times this year that Lions fans can cheer the defense.
Well, really taking no chances, this Kansas City offense. 3rd and 12. You're on the 42-yard line. They call a screen because they do not want anything to go wrong. And Rich Gannon, again, he's mobile. He makes good decisions. Moving around just a little. Let him get the ball down the field.
The problem I'm seeing, take a look at the last few games or this year with the Detroit defense. They're giving up 60% of their passes you're completing. Throw the ball.
Aguiar to punt. Milburn at the 16. And can't sidestep the rush down at the 19. Donnie Edwards and others with the tackle. A 41-yard punt. You're watching on. Welcome back to the Silverdome. 3rd quarter. Kansas City and Detroit tied at 14. Midpoint of this 3rd period. The Lions tough at home. Lost only 1 of their last 12. Even though they're 5-7 on the year. Tough to beat Detroit here. Underneath they go to Moore, and Moore has a 1st down at the 34. James Hasty the tackler. 15 on the play.
Herman Moore at 6'4". James Hasty on the outside. Man coverage. James Hasty on the outside looking in the backfield just in case Barry Sanders runs the football. Lets Herman Moore get inside and make the easy catch.
Joe Phillips almost knocked that thing down at the line of scrimmage. That's hard to do with a guy 6'6".
Sanders on the draw for 3. Well, good to have with us on this Turkey Day the Goodyear blimp, one of America's most enduring corporate images, floating overhead providing our aerial views. Goodyear blimps have been appearing over major events since 1925.
You know, it's amazing in the warm-ups how they got that thing inside here.
Huh? What?
That was that little lion with the flying line.
What worries me, I think you actually do see it.
2nd and 7. Sanders
It's just like a boxer, jabbing, looking for that hole where he can throw the big punch.
It'll be 3rd down and about 4. Wayne Fonts. Well, the players like this man, and he claims they have full respect. And the incident that happened earlier this year on Halloween with his quarterback Scott Mitchell was all in good fun and taken just that way.
Yeah, that's a 2-pillow gut. Wayne said I only had a 1-pillow gut. And he also had cheap cigars, which I like, expensive cigars.
Mitchell rides out to the 45, and that'll be good enough for a 1st down. Brian Washington for Kansas City covered him.
Well, Scott Mitchell, not noted to be a scrambler, but pretty mobile for a 6'6", 250 quarterback. He drops back. It's man coverage down the field. There's a hole in front of him. He runs for the 1st down.
You know, the other thing about Wayne Fonts is he said to us yesterday, he said about coming back next year, he said, I will personally be shocked if I'm not here next year.
That William Clay Ford has never given him an ultimatum that he has to be in the playoffs. Said that there'll be changes made. Didn't mean that I'd be fired, he said. Fumble by the quarterback Mitchell, and I believe he fell on it as Keith Traylor, injured earlier, with a hand in to knock it away. That'll bring up 3rd and long.
Well, he hurt his knee earlier. This time it looks like he hurt his hand, knocking the ball out of Scott Mitchell's hand. Good job of Keith Traylor working his way up the field. Not going to be able to get a clear shot at the quarterback, but he reaches out, strips him of the ball.
Now that's what you call the lucky bounce. That ball bounces right back up into Scott Mitchell's hands. Traylor's on the sideline again.
2nd down and a dozen. We'll go Keith semi-trailer. And that's going to be delay of game, I believe. Well, Mitchell, after recovering the fumble, slow and getting back to the huddle. And
offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Mitchell is in the last year of his contract, and there's some who feel it's about 50-50 split here whether he'll be back in Detroit next season.
Well, it's a big decision for this organization to make. It's the coach, so that's always up in the air, but Scott Mitchell, big salary, and they would probably take a huge salary to keep him here, and you got to wonder if they're willing to make the commitment here in Detroit.
2nd and 17. Mitchell just does get that one over the head of Johnny Morton and out of bounds. Vaughn Booker putting the pressure.
I know one thing, though, that Barry Sanders will be back.
Well, you really go out on a limb sometimes. It amazes me.
Well, you know, you think about these things real hard.
I hear you.
Here's Mitchell. I mean, he's having trouble. He does get the ball away, but he's trying to throw it out of bounds. And you get the feeling they're starting to boo a little bit here. And Wayne Fonts says, I never hear that.
That's why he wears that earpiece that covers both ears, because he doesn't want to be affected by the crowd. He told us that.
He goes long this time, down the sidelines and out of bounds. There's no chance. Flag goes down as Herman Moore crowded along the sidelines, unable to get it back in the field of play.
Yeah, but he was forced out of bounds. You're talking about illegal chucking, I think.
Illegal chuck. Well, you should have said that's what you think. You stopped right there like we were all hanging out.
I just wanted to make sure who it was. It was 40, James Hasty, but you remember now, you're in a 5-yard area where you could chuck the guy. Here it is. 5, 7, 8. Now he hits him again. That's where he knocks him out of bounds. It's an illegal chuck.
And still holding on to him while he was out of bounds, so an obvious call.
Here's another huge mistake. On 3rd down in what?
17.
17.
So the 5-yard penalty, but the 1st down at 43.
Dick, the one thing last week against the San Diego Chargers, Kansas City Chiefs defense, they probably had the worst game they've had in their lives of these guys combined together. And when you look at it, Marty Schottenheimer said to us, he said, our defense stunk up the joint. I mean, it was the worst effort they ever had. And here, there's just a few of these guys just kind of seem like they're not in the picture.
The defense, it relies on pressure by the front four. And last week, the front four is not getting to the quarterback. And you can see here today, when they don't get around Scott Mitchell, the receivers are getting open with the extra time.
Full time at 14, late in the 3rd. Underneath, Moore wide open. And he gets
It's out of bounds with a first down at the Kansas City 42.
Well, Scott Mitchell told us this is one area where the Kansas City Chiefs, and we said the defense is weak, going shallow underneath because they do not like to follow. Watch Herman Moore, number 84, come across the formation. The corners do not like to follow the receivers across it. That's the reason he's wide open.
Herman Moore looking for another century season. He has 5 catches all in the second half. That's 82 for the year for Moore. Quickie, and it's Perriman. Gain of about 5. Carter, the defender. 7th catch for Perriman. Boy, it's a tough 1-2 punch. Moore and Perriman, and then when you concentrate on them, Johnny Morton.
Well, Johnny Morton, and then you throw in that guy in the backfield, Barry Sanders, and like we said, that makes defenses play soft and careful. And this receiving core, when you play safe, you know, they'll beat you up underneath.
Under the combined 82 for Moore and 74 for Perriman this year, both over 100 a season ago. Barry Sanders staggers as he gets to the line of scrimmage and is dropped at the 35, a couple yards shy of a first down.
One thing I'm looking at, though, Philly, you touched on it earlier about this team, and one thing, the success of the Kansas City Chiefs defense is that they're 4 guys up front. They've got to put penetration, and right now in this ball game, the Lions are controlling the line of scrimmage, and when you do that and give Mitchell that much time to throw, you can run from one side of the field to the other like we just saw Herman Moore do. I mean, you're going to beat this team.
It's 3rd down and a long yard, and the strength of the Lion offensive line is the center, Glover, 53, and that rookie at right guard, Jeff Harding, 64. Mitchell. Complete. It's Morton. First down inside the 25. So Scott Mitchell now is 8 for 9 on 3rd down.
Well, Detroit does a good job. What they do is they put the receiver in motion, create a little traffic jam outside, 3rd and short. That enables Johnny Morton to get away from Dale Carter.
So 3rd down has been crucial in the game, as it always is, and Mitchell has been delivering. Sanders. He didn't go to gain a yard. In fact, loses as Anthony Davis makes the tackle. But that one move he made just behind the guard position was, well, only Sanders has it.
Yeah, it had about 4 or 5 shakes to it.
He had some shakes. Neil Smith coming upfield. He thinks he's got him. He doesn't get him. But the thing about it is, when this guy does a shake, and on the top of the screen is Neil Smith, and here he comes up the field, and he's getting blocked. What, he really thinks I got a piece of him? He doesn't get him. Well, Joe Phillips doesn't get him. You better hope a linebacker does.
Well, Neil Smith was getting tackled.
But he made the play in a 7-yard loss. 2nd down. Sanders, but Sanders had Neil Smith covering him. Smith took Sanders when he came out of the backfield.
Well, the one thing Neil Smith has on Barry Sanders is size, and so it's hard to throw over him. And look at him. Oh, I got him. And now he can go home, Paul, and tell everybody, hey, I covered him. Man coverage down the field. And well, Scott Mitchell, it's open. It's just a fact that really Neil Smith is so high, you cannot drop it over him.
But this offensive line, they picked up the blitz. They did a great job. The offensive line has really been good today for the Detroit Lions.
Neil Smith will be telling Dale Carter about that coverage. 3rd and 17. At the 13-yard line. First down or not? It's going to be close.
Don't you just love what Herman Moore did? He sees the quarterback. He comes all the way across the field. But the way he positions his body on Hasty, Hasty does not have a chance. He's going to be coming from the left-hand side of the screen, folks. And when he does, Mitchell sees him. He just blocks his body. Look at Hasty. He's behind. Really has no chance to make a play on Moore. It's outstanding. Here it comes.
They needed 17. They got 17 plus and a first down.
Sanders' 9th touchdown run of the season. The cake may not have totally exploded, but the fuse is getting mighty close to the powder. Hanson's try for point. It's 21-14. Detroit, 21 seconds left. Third quarter.
Well, when you look at Barry Sanders, watch how quick he gets back out to the outside. The hole is not there. Metzelaars is blocking at the line of scrimmage. When he gets back out, after one step, he's still full speed.
And then has the leg strength to pull away from Stargell and get in the end zone. 21-14. Lions fans roaring at the Silverdome. Seconds left in the third. A line drive fielded by Greg Minuski, and the backup linebacker may have fumbled. The Lions say they have it at the 35. No signal yet.
You know, I always love guys standing around the pile. They're standing around pointing. They can't see the ball. Nobody knows where it's at, but they point.
Kansas City recovers.
With 12 seconds left in the third quarter. Now Greg Minuski able to recover his own fumble.
First of all, he should not even touch this ball.
Well, he does a good job of catching it. It's a line drive kick, but I would have turned around and hand it to one of the receivers who's used to carrying it.
Keith Washington was the man who stripped him of the ball, but Minuski saves some Thanksgiving embarrassment by ripping away and getting it back. 36-yard line, Kansas City. Gannon underneath again to Anders. And Benny Blades there to pull him down at the 37-yard line. A gain of a couple, and that's the end of the third period. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Happy Thanksgiving from the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, where the Detroit Lions now have a 21-14 lead as we open the fourth quarter. Dick Enberg along with Phil Simms, Paul McGuire, and Jim Gray. Kansas City ball, second down 8 at the 38. Rich Gannon with that pass at the end of the third quarter. That was his first pass of the second half. Under pressure, he likes to scramble. He has 5. He has more, and a first down at the 49-yard line.
Now that was a very good move. Rich Gannon, and I think that was Malone, who's a safety out there with him. Watch Gannon. Once he sees Porcher there inside, he just takes off to the outside. Everybody's covered. Watch this little move here. A little dip outside, back to the inside, and goodbye.
First down at the 49 for Gannon, who was a running quarterback at the University of Delaware with the Blue Hens. He has 29-yard rushing yards today. The passes, as you pointed out, Paul, have been very short and safe. Greg Hill finds some room, and he is to the Detroit 35-yard line. A gain of 16 more.
I mean, it's kind of unbelievable to think about the Kansas City Chiefs and their offense and only throwing one pass so far in the second half.
Well, it's a good job of this Kansas City line of sealing off the inside, and Will Shields, number 68, really a terrific athlete, coming out and leading the way for Greg Hill.
Ryan Stewart and Ron Rice finally making the tackle. Paul Hackett making the play calls upstairs. A very conservative plan.
Oh, really? Well, it is conservative, Dick, but you got to, but also Marty Schottenheimer is helping him along with this, telling him, run and throw, or what situation he wants to put the offense in. And
Vanover was the target there, and Gannon's pass awry. Rich Gannon. You talk about thankful athletes. Here's a man that wasn't talented enough in a Philadelphia high school to make it to a big university program. In fact, he lettered in crew at the Philadelphia high school, went to Delaware, then 2 years ago was out of football. He thought he was through. He said he really had kind of made plans for the rest of his life.
Well, when he came out of college, a lot of teams did not want to draft him as a quarterback. They thought he was fast enough and athletic enough to be a running back in the NFL.
Greg Hill, oh, look at him weave and work and he's close to a first down. The former star at Texas A&M in his 3rd season, starting to blossom for the Chiefs.
Well, you know, he knows he's got Kimball Landers and the guys blocking in front of him. Kimball Landers is number 38. Hill is number 27. But look at this. Look at the move. See, Kimball Landers gets his block, and then Hill does all the rest. He's got Criswell out in front of him. He just does a great job of picking up the first down.
11 on that carry. He's averaging 7 yards a carry, 56 for the day. There's the block by Anders.
And Benny Blades was upset after that play because he said I was being held, and Kimball Anders did have that left arm on the outside.
Hill again has the speed to turn the corner, and now out of bounds at the 17-yard line. A gain of almost 8 more before Corey Raymond can bump him out.
Well, Benny Blades is going to be up in there, number 36. He thinks he's going to make the tackle, and then Greg Hill says, nope, I don't like this. He gets hit by Kimball Anders again. He takes it outside, and after the play is over, Benny Blades, watch him. He'll take it, the helmet off, walk the sideline. I don't know what he's complaining about.
Oh, he's just going back in now. I think he's just getting ready to leave the game.
Well,
you know, the holding's a part of this game. And Kimball Anders is an outstanding blocker.
Second down, a short 3. Marcus Allen now in. And Allen threw a big hole up the middle is to the 19, the 18. That'll be another first down for the Chiefs with 12 minutes left in the 4th.
So one of the things about Marcus Allen, and Marcus is down on the field, he is hurt, is that when he knows it's like 1.5 yards, 2 yards, he explodes. But he also knows when to glide. And Marcus is down.
Watch Marcus Allen when he goes through the hole. He's going to get hit. A glancing blow down low.
Might have been injured when he hit the carpet. It's a very hard surface here.
He's going to get hit. You can see his right knee. You can see it buckle inward. But he's walking off the field. Watch his right knee. The helmet to the knee. You can see the angle. Very fortunate his foot was not planted and didn't get caught in the AstroTurf. And Dick, you're right. We were on the field yesterday. I don't know if it's a step above concrete or not. This is about as hard as any field I've ever been on.
Greg Hill in. First down. It's Hill to the 10-yard line. Keith Washington made the tackle. Marcus Allen out, but has had a 70-yard rushing day and a touchdown, a historic touchdown, his 111th rushing score. This, his longest run of the season, 35 yards in the first half. And then number 111, more than anyone in NFL history, Walter Payton, 110. And the souvenir. His family watching in San Diego, cheering along with the Kansas City folks. Second down, Gannon, roll, throw, touchdown, Derek Walker, the tight end.
This is
now
Gannon.
You gotta like the call there, Paul.
I love the call.
I love it too.
I don't have any problem with that call. That was an excellent call. It shows his mobility to get into the outside and also throw the ball on the run. And this is one of the reasons why they made the change, because of this mobility of Rich Gannon.
And he makes good decisions. You can see 12 of 15 today, but in that drive alone, he made about 3 athletic plays that led to the touchdown and kept drives going.
Derek Walker's first touchdown of the season, and now the extra point try by Pete Stoyanovich. And we're tied once again. We're tied at 7, tied at 14, and now knotted at 21.
Excellent fake by Rich Gannon. Fakes out Robert Porcher, gets outside, buys extra time, sees Derek Walker coming across. Excellent throw for the touchdown.
And by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be.
Let's take a look at the touchdown. Here's Derek Walker, the tight end. Number 99, Pepper Johnson, has coverage on him. And Pepper Johnson is really not fooled by the play-action fake. Look, he picks up Derek Walker right away. But 11 years tackling people from the middle linebacker position, Pepper Johnson just not able to keep up.
Would you say he lost a step? How about 5?
No, just 1.
Stoyanovich kicks it off with 10:53 left in the 4th, tied at 21. Glenn Milburn at the 4. Milburn sees some daylight at
at the 35, 40, 45, spins to the 48 of Kansas City. Big return, almost a penalty down at the 15. I think it was Kowalkowski who was able to not block his man in the back.
And a tackle thrown to the ground by Aguiar, the kicker.
48-yard return. Watch about the 15-yard line. Right there, 52 Kowalkowski, and he wisely backed off. He could have blocked his man, but he saw the numbers, and that allowed Milburn his run to be allowed.
And Louis Aguiar made him pay for that run by Jimmy Paul.
Mitchell, incomplete. No flag. Carter apparently timing his move on Perriman. Fans didn't like it.
For once, I agree with the fans. Dale Carter, who's been picked on a little the last couple weeks, number 34 up at top. First, he's got a hold of him and hits him well. He gets the left hand involved, falls on his back. And
well, his left arm is all the way around him. You can't put your arm on the guy. That should have been called.
Usually that's an immediate flag by the officials. That time he gets away with it.
2nd and 10. Sanders behind Mitchell. Twisted down hard at the 46-yard line as Anthony Davis helped out Brian Washington.
The one thing about Sanders is if you got an area to get to, you must get to it right now. You can't sit there and wait on him. Look at Washington. He's trying to figure out which way he's going. Now Sanders gets back inside, and Washington just gets him and knocks him down. That's just a great play by the defense. Again, when Sanders comes up into a hole and you have that particular assignment, you've got to get in there.
Look at that. 6 minus carries. 13 of his 19 for 3 yards or less, but it's the other 6 that the defense is crazy. Mitchell throwing deep downfield, flag down as Perriman makes the catch. Brett Perriman tackled at the 3 by Carter. Did he push off? There was a lot of contact over there.
Scott Mitchell, what a throw. He told us he loves to throw the ball behind the receiver when there's coverage down the field. Absolutely on purpose. He throws it short. The receiver makes the adjustment. The defensive back never sees the football.
Holding during the pass play, number 34 in the defense. Penalties decline. First down.
It was unthinkable early in this year. Most teams wouldn't even throw the ball at number 34, Dale Carter. The last couple of weeks, everybody's throwing it at him. First off, there's too much contact down the field, but look at the underthrown ball. Brett Perriman comes back. Dale Carter had no clue the ball had been thrown.
44-yard play. Scott Mitchell and the Lions fans like it. 1st and goal. A team that's been best in the NFL in the red zone. The Lions in scoring touchdowns. Barry Sanders. He is smothered. No gain.
Well, see, you're absolutely right. Don't put a guy in front of him.
Well,
the Lions successful today in the red zone and on the season 32 possessions and 21 touchdowns. That's the best percentage in the league. And Jason Hansen, they've been so good, has tried only 10 field goals all year.
You know, last time they have Corey Schlesinger in the backfield with Barry Sanders.
He got in the way.
Yeah, they do. They get in the way. Get out of his way.
Carter out. Martin Bayless in playing a kind of a cover linebacker. Mitchell guns it, almost intercepted. It was right in the midst of Mark Collins. He was looking for his 2nd pick of the day.
Well, Mark Collins, he has a wonderful feel playing at free safety. He never overcommits. It's really a good job by Scott Mitchell coming to the 3rd receiver, but Mark Collins not out of position. And Wayne Fonts has seen too many passes intercepted into the end zone. He goes, yee. Oh, that's right.
Whoa, yee. Great camera work.
This is really the last couple of weeks, though. Scott Mitchell has thrown some balls in the end zone that have been picked off that are really hurting this offense and the Lions team.
3rd and goal is Scott Mitchell trying to keep his report card perfect. He's 9 for 9. 3rd down. 8 minutes 50 seconds remaining in the 4th. This Thursday Thanksgiving game is tied at 21.
In the backfield for Scott Mitchell, number 93, Curran Waldrop, who is on the defense. Look at this guy. I mean, he is blocking over here. Does a pretty good job.
But Mark Collins had his sights set on that interception. 3rd and goal. Mitchell. Incomplete. Herman Moore had fallen. Dale Carter covering. And so one of the times this year that the Lions defense does not produce a touchdown in the red zone. On 4th and goal, unable to gain a yard from the 3-yard line. A rare chance for field goal for Jason Hansen. He's 7 for 10 this year. Last year he tried 34.
Well, down the goal line, 3rd down and 3. When in doubt, throw it to Herman Moore, and really we expected maybe a high pass so he could out-jump the smaller defenders.
To break the tie, a 20-yard field goal attempt by Hansen. And the Lions lead 24-21. 8:41 left in the 4th quarter. Detroit Lions, what a pleasure to be able to watch Barry Sanders do his thing.
The most unassuming man I've ever been around. I mean, it's all right, that's fine, that's what I do.
Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator, told me yesterday, he says he is the greatest superstar I've ever been around him. He says there's nothing you can do to make him a better person or a better player.
Van over at the 3. And finally brought down by Keith Washington at the 24. Well, the score is 24-21, but don't tell that to Marty Schottenheimer. He thinks it should be tied. This is the end of the first half. Time running out. Rich Gannon downs the ball with 1 second left, but the linesman, Dave Anderson, in conference with Gary Lang, the referee, said the clock had expired, and they did not allow Schottenheimer to bring on the field goal unit. So
now, if they had replay, would they have used that there?
I would think that'd been a classic case of using that replay there. Why not?
Well, it had nothing to do with possession of the football.
Well, it had to do with
an
officiating mistake.
Well, we'd have replay a lot. We don't want it, Dick.
No, I don't want it. I never have wanted it. Gannon scrambles again and gets sizable yardage down the sidelines, out of bounds near the 40-yard line. So Gannon with 16 more yards, and that's the dimension that when Marty Schottenheimer explained his change at quarterback, this is what he was looking for.
It is, and watch when Gannon gets outside number 82, Walker, the tight end. You'll see him in the picture right here. He gets another little piece that enables him to pick up the extra 6 yards.
Well, the one thing you worried about Rich Gannon coming in today, starting quarterback, would he change the way he plays? Because when he's relieved Steve Bono in the last 2 years, he's been exceptional. Today, he just comes in, he lets it happen. If it's a run, he just takes off.
45 yards rushing for Gannon. The Chiefs have 200 yards rushing to this point. 205, 208 yards as Greg Hill picks up 8 on first down.
There is a guy on this football team, Greg Hill, that really does not get enough playing time. Number 1, doesn't get enough credit. This young man, I'm telling you, is a great back. He has got outstanding moves. Look at him find a hole. And Phil touched on it earlier. The one thing about him, and Phil asked Marty Schottenheimer, well, why didn't he have great yardage at the beginning of the year? Because he never practiced with the starting team, so he never saw the holes. He never saw what the defenses were doing against him.
Basically, he would go up and tippy-toe in the holes and not hit it hard enough. The last few games, he's running through there with speed and making quick decisions.
Yeah, he did there. No hesitation. Another 4 yards and a first down at the Detroit 48. 79 yards rushing now for the man shadowing Marcus Allen, Greg Hill.
Well, the Detroit line, defensive line, it's a little light, and just watch the Kansas City line move it backwards. Nobody's able to get off the blocks. Kimball Anders hits the middle linebacker, Pepper Johnson. Easy to pick up 5 yards that way.
We saw the shot of Marcus Allen. Greg Hill was 8 years old when Marcus won the Heisman Award at USC.
Well, that'll make Marcus real happy.
Well, Marcus is very proud of the fact he is the oldest starting running back in NFL history. Give to Vanover on the reverse. Chase from behind and hit at the 48. No gain on the play.
You know, you just talked about the pit and what's happening. They moved the Detroit Lions back, and they're a smaller team compared to Kansas City. But this is the time in the ball game when the lines take over. The offensive lines take over. Now, here's the guys they have to. This man, Eddie, is defensive coordinator. He's giving the signals in. And what you've got to do now, this defense has really got to rise to the occasion because this offense is so much bigger, they can move them off the ball.
6 minutes left in the fourth. 24-21 Detroit.
to the 43-yard line, a pickup of 5, and 3 of those yards before he even hit any blue jerseys.
I can guarantee you with the Detroit Lions defensive linemen, especially the 2 defensive ends, Porsche in particular, they're coming upfield wide. They are not going to let Gannon kind of work his way back to the outside on any kind of a bootleg or roll.
Well, that's one of the reasons why they get hurt in the middle a little, Paul, because they're worried about the quarterback getting outside, and right now they look a little tired to me too, especially the interior defensive linemen.
3rd and a short 6. Hill, what a cut. First down at the 36-yard line. Benny Blades with the tackle. 91-yard rushing day for Greg Hill.
Well, watch the offensive guard. There you see Will Shields, number 68, doing a good job leading Greg Hill up into the hole, and Greg Hill making an excellent cut. 68, Will Shields pulling around. He's been doing this all day. He takes it to the outside, kicks out. Greg Hill, good read, takes it back inside.
6 straight running plays for the Chiefs on this drive. And another. No, play action. And the throw complete to Anders. And he is knocked out of bounds by Pepper Johnson. Well, a dandy here on Thanksgiving, and we look forward to doubleheader action on NBC on Sunday. All begins at 12 o'clock. Most of you will see the early game. Will be the Colts and the Bills. Others, central matchups. Pittsburgh and Baltimore, or Cincinnati, Jacksonville. Then the second half of the doubleheader, our crew will be out in Oakland to see the Haas and the Raiders against the Dolphins in Marino. Denver plays Seattle. Some of you will see the Oilers and Jets doubleheader Sunday. Hill again drives to the 26-yard line, and he's near another first down. Tackled by Blades and by Ron Rice, and that's going to put Greg Hill right around the 100 mark today.
Kimball Anders on Reggie Brown. 38 on 59 blue, and he meets him in the hole, and he opens the hole. Look at 38, Kimball Anders. Bam! There's the block right there, and look at that hole. Kimball Anders not only blocks, he can run with the ball, and he also catches.
Hill 3 yards shy of 100 yards. As Kansas City piling up big yards on the ground today, well over 200. Gannon on first down. Screens it to Donnell Bennett, the former University of Miami star, finally knocked out of bounds. 94, Luther Ellis made the defensive play.
That screen's not a good play right now like it was early in the game, because defensive linemen are too hard to run. They're too tired to rush the passer. So they're just standing there waiting.
You know, it really is a great point, because you got to pick your times. You want it when you run a screen pass. You want to make sure these guys are fired up. They're coming upfield. That's at the beginning of the game. Here, you're going right into the defense.
This long drive, primarily on the ground, continues. 3 minutes and 27 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And Tom McNair finds a hole, and he's to the 16-yard line. Appears to be a yard shy of a first down. Mike Wells, who recovered a fumble in the end zone after Bono had fumbled in the second quarter, made that tackle.
Well, we got on the play calling earlier that it was a little too conservative, but you got to commend the Chiefs. It takes patience when you're down. Only 3 points, but down in the fourth quarter, getting late, to keep running the football in passing situations.
Well, because that's what you've been doing the whole ball game.
Danon Hughes and Lapel to the right. 3rd and 1. Gannon completes it to McNair, a first down. He only needed a yard. He got almost 3. Van Malone made the tackle. 2:35, 2:34, the clock running, as the Chiefs consuming a lot of this fourth quarter on this drive.
Well, this is a play that's been run for a long time by this so-called West Coast offense. And McNair coming out of the backfield, 3rd and short. They call him speed outs, get a guy on the flat real quick, and before the defense can cover him, ask the quarterback to get the ball to him.
And that's only really designed to be a 2 or 3 yard pickup.
That's right. Jerry Rice has got about 8. He's probably got 20 touchdowns on that exact play.
Well in field goal range, but looking for a go-ahead touchdown. It's Hill. Not this time. A loss of a yard.
Shane Bonham and others make the tackle. Timeout, 2-minute warning. 1:56 left in the fourth.
That's right.
Yeah, the offense catching a blow as well. It's been a long, arduous drive. 233 yards rushing for the Chiefs in the game, averaging almost 6 yards a carry. And Gannon's 15 for 18 passing, and yet Kansas City trails by 3. Hill. Flags fly. Hill to the 13.
We got defense offside. They're running a blitz off the corner, and the blitz man is offside.
Offsides, defense, number 59, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Reggie Brown, the rookie linebacker. He is fast, and with 240 pounds, I figure he's going to be a star.
Well, actually, it isn't 59, it's 55.
It was 55, Antonio London at the top of the screen. They called it on Reggie Brown. It was a blitz, trying to anticipate the quarterback snap count. Jumps too early.
2nd and 5 from the 9.
Another blitz.
Hill to the 2-yard line. 1st and goal for the Chiefs. Ryan McNeil was the last blue jersey in his path.
Kimball Anders, you know, every time we do Kansas City Chiefs, as it gets down in the fourth quarter, this guy just does more than expected from anyone. He blocks 2 different people. Number 38 is Kimball Anders, going off the center. Bam, he hits one right there and moves downfield and hits another one. And that's hustle.
And Marty Schottenheimer just being deliberate here, chewing up the clock. And even if the Lions may start to call time. This was called by Kansas City. There's only 1:13 left. It was the Lions, 24-21. An expensive timeout by the Lions.
Well, Antonio London, number 55, he calls timeout because, look, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Only 10 defenders. I don't know. I think you let it go, and Wayne Fonts is upset because this was not good clock management. Both sides have done a bad job today with the clock in crucial situations.
Now the Lions, in danger of losing their lead, have only 1 timeout if and when they get the ball back. Marcus Allen to the 1, pulled back. Pepper Johnson got a hold of his shoulder pads, and Keith Washington there as well.
The reason that they had 10 guys on it, and it's no excuse, but the reason is Marcus Allen came on the field. And when Marcus Allen, they have a different package of more linebackers and only like 3 or 4 defensive backs. So what they do in that situation, 1 guy more came off than went on.
Now Detroit uses its final timeout. So they are in a desperate spot with 2nd and goal at the 1-yard line. Kansas City has all of its timeouts. The Lions lead by 3 but have no more timeouts. Well, NBC's Thanksgiving Spectacular, 4 great family movies begins tonight. Home Alone. Then Friday it's a network premiere of D2, The Mighty Ducks. Saturday the network premiere, Beethoven 2nd, and Sunday the mega hit Jurassic Park. Now that's the way you're going to be home. Turn on NBC with the entire family. A Thanksgiving Spectacular. Great movies all weekend long on NBC. And a reminder, after Home Alone tonight, a memorable episode of ER as Dr. Doug Ross saves a boy from a drowning accident.
Phil, I believe this is 4-down territory. You don't want to get into overtime with this football team. Not the way as bad as the defense has been playing.
2nd and goal. Marcus Allen at tailback. No signal yet by the officials. They have not said touchdown as yet. The Chiefs think they have a score. Clock stopped at 46 seconds. Touchdown, Kansas City. The 2nd for Marcus Allen.
You think that Marcus Allen didn't want this touchdown? You watch him dive head first over top of this thing. You talk about sacrificing your body, Dick. He just dove for the end zone.
His 112th career touchdown, the all-time NFL mark.
Well, the Chiefs, they have been very good always running the ball short yardage down the goal line, and Marcus Allen jumped from about 4 yards out.
He left from the 4-yard line. If you see this from the side angle, Marcus Allen, there it is. The ball is over. All it has to do is touch it. That was touchdown. Good call.
They used almost 8 full minutes on that drive, Kansas City. Stoyanovich adds the extra point, flags down. It appeared that the Lions were offside. That drive of 76 yards in 15 plays, most of them runs, consumes 7 minutes and 54 seconds and leaves Detroit with only 46 seconds to try to counter.
Defense, 12 men. Extra point is good. 5 yards on the kickoff.
That was the man they didn't have on a couple plays before.
Ah, please. Give me a break. I mean, you got 10, you have to waste a timeout, then you have 12, and you get penalized on the kickoff, and you have no timeouts left in 46 seconds.
Those are the kind of plays that upset owners. Not getting enough people on the field, not being organized, and in those type of situations where you have to take a timeout when you know it's so crucial in the game.
Meanwhile, the smiles are all on the far sidelines. Marcus Allen, the payoff. Greg Hill got it down there, and here's Marcus, his second touchdown today.
Let's see, from the about the 3.5 or 4 yard line, he starts to dive and gets the ball right on the goal line stripe for the touchdown.
Look at him protect that ball. He's got 2 hands around the ball, protecting the ball, knows that he's going to get popped up in the air.
Neil Smith.
And that drive, you got to say, boy, is that playing it close to the vest. All those running plays, and it really, once they got past the 50-yard line, you knew it was down to the last possession. That was going to be it. Were they going to kick a field goal or be fortunate enough to keep running it in there and get the touchdown?
In Wayne Font's regime, the Lions have always had good kick return effort. Mel Gray, of course, was a big star, and now Glenn Milburn, and they really need a big play now because they have no timeouts and just 46 seconds left in the game.
But Wayne Font says, you know, we talked to him yesterday, mathematically we still have a chance. So when there is some life left, well, the loss here, there is no chance after this for the playoffs.
Aguiar gives a squibber. Aubrey Matthews picks it up. Matthews chased by Danon Hughes, and Reggie Tongue finishes the job.
What are you looking at me for? Reggie Tongue makes a play.
I know, that's how I called it. Just bite yours. 46 down to 37 seconds. So Matthews, in trying to find a block, consumed a lot of time traversing the field, and the Lions have it at the 17-yard line. The story of this game, Rich Gannon in his debut as a starter, 15 for 18, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns, also rushed for nearly 50. And Kansas City for 242 yards rushing. Mitchell underneath and complete to Morton. He wouldn't have gotten much anyway and would have been tackled in the field of play.
Well, that was the important stat for Rich Gannon. The yards he got rushing all came in passing situations. He made something out of plays when there was nothing there, and that was the difference for this Kansas City offense today.
I'll tell you what I like to see here, though. I mean, there's only 31 seconds left to go, and they're throwing a short pass. You really can't go deep on these guys, but get the ball in the hands of Barry Sanders one more time in space, and maybe he can make some things happen.
Mitchell steps up, throws complete to Moore at the 30, but the Lions need 4, not 3, and they're now on their own 30-yard line.
Well,
13 on the play.
Sorry, Dick, you should kill the clock right here. Don't even take a chance of running another play.
Flag down. I believe Sanders hadn't set. Underneath to the tight end Metzelaars, his first catch at the 40. Clock stops with 8 seconds.
I mean, why are you throwing the ball in the middle of the field under any circumstances here?
You should be throwing the Hail Mary right from the start, the very first play, but
well, with a penalty here, 10 seconds will be taken off the clock. That's it. There's 8 showing now, and you wipe off 10 on the penalty.
Game's over.
Illegal motion. Offense, number 20, moving at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
They should take off another 10, should they not?
Well, Marty's screaming on the other side of the field. Schottenheimer's yelling at some people. Wait a minute, the game should be over. Should take 10 seconds off the clock.
Marty Schottenheimer just informed them, and now they're going to talk about it.
And the officials are conducting a little conference over there. Now, if it was no timeouts left and you commit the penalty, you wipe off 10. Game's over.
Rule inside of 2 minutes in a hurry-up offense. The team out of timeouts has a foul. There is a 10-second runoff. The game is over.
And the Kansas City Chiefs move to 9-4. Wayne Fonts, the winningest coach in Lions history, and his future certainly in jeopardy now as his Lions fall to 5-8. As Wayne said so prophetically at the start of the year, he predicted the Lions would be a Super Bowl team. He said that was over on the opening kickoff of the first game. I proved I was wrong. And solid effort by Detroit. A terrifically entertaining game, and Kansas City goes home with a very important victory as they look to the playoffs with their new quarterback, Rich Gannon. We'll be back with more from the Silverdome in Pontiac on this Happy Thanksgiving Day.